Hello and welcome to another video for Midas Touch Toys, Games and Collectibles. And today, we're looking at something that is quite old, has become very collectible and is now quite difficult to find, especially in this mint unopened condition. We are looking at the 2002 release by Art Asylam from their Star Trek series of Minimates. And this particular series we're looking at today is of the first Star Trek series of Minimates figures. And these were the 3-inch versions. After this particular series, Minimates figures were all produced in the 2-inch size versions, so they were quite a bit smaller. They did develop the actual figures further on later versions of them, but this particular one we're looking at today is the very first versions from 2002 of Star Trek, and the 3-inch variants, as opposed, as I say, to the 2-inch ones which followed. And this particular figure we are looking at today is of none other than Captain James T Kirk, as portrayed by William Shatner in the original television series show, which ran from originally 1966 through to 1969. There were 3 seasons produced and a total of 79 episodes. After that, obviously the series was axed, and then it went on. They did actually come back and do the animated television series. Most of the cast came back and used their voices on that show. And then, of course, they went into the movies with Star Trek, the motion picture, in 1979, which was followed by The Wrath of Khan, Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock, Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home, Star Trek 5, The Final Frontier, and Star Trek 6, The Undiscovered Country. And then, of course, William Shatner, James Doohan and Walter Koenig also appeared in Star Trek Generations, which bridged the gap between Star Trek the original series and Star Trek Next Generation. Anyway, let's not digress too much. This is the figure in front of us, and this figure is of none other than Captain James T Kirk. And this is the card that it comes on. And it says Minimates, and you've got Art Asylam. Get committed to artasylam.com. And you got Star Trek, and just in behind the packet you can see the image of the figure, or the actual figure itself, the block figure. And at the bottom it says Captain Kirk. And if I just lift the packet up slightly, it's got the warning: choking hazard, small parts not suitable for children under 3 years old. And it says suggested age 4+, and it's item number 87450. Okay, that's the front of the card. Let's turn the card around and see what we got printed on the back. Okay, so I've turned the card around, and this is what we got on the back. So it says Star Trek, and you've got Captain Kirk, Dr. Spock, Mr. Spock, Dr. McCoy, Khan, the Magatu, and the Gorn. Now, those were the original 5 or 6 figures that were produced in this series, Series 1. And there was also a Comic-Con exclusive figure, which was of Kirk in his casual attire from the Trouble with Tribbles. Okay, and it's got Minimates logo at the top, and the other, well, at that time these were the block figures in their series. So yeah, Kiss, Dark Angel, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Bruce Lee, Iron Maiden, Ozzy Osbourne, Bob Zom, whatever that was. I can't quite see these. The writing is a bit. Alice Cooper and Rob Zombie. So that's the other ones in the series. And you've got images of the 6 figures in the series at the bottom there. The barcode, CE marking, 0 to 3 years, Art Asylam logo, and you've got all the copyright and licensing information at the bottom there, and all the relevant logos at the bottom. artasylam.com, and it's item number 87450, I think that is. 87450, yeah. Okay, so that is the back of the card. Okay, let's turn the card around now, and let's have a look at the figure itself. Okay, so I've zoomed right in on the figure itself, and there you can see Captain James T Kirk. And you can see he's got that wonderful hair, and I believe the hair comes off. These figures, if you know the Lego figures, then they're similar to the Lego figures, if you like. The movement is very similar, being that they're block figures, and bits are attachable and detachable. I think you can take the arms out as well. The head comes off, and I think there's a few other bits and pieces that you can change on the figures. But there he is, Captain Kirk, in his usual gold command shirt, and there's the Star Trek logo there, which is exact as it should be. Good copies, I think, by Art Asylam, considering these were early versions of their Minimates figures, early versions of the Star Trek ones. I say after this they went over to the 2-inch Star Trek figures, which by some intents and purposes, the quality was a little bit better. Well, I say the quality, maybe the finish was a little bit better. The quality is exactly the same, just a smaller figure, but the finishing may have been a little bit better. I think you can just see at the background there, his phaser. He comes complete with his phaser just at the. Now, it is the phaser is actually all silver, if you can just see at the back there, as opposed to black and silver like they were in the TV show. And just behind him you've got the quirky little jigsaw piece stand, which come with all these Art Asylam figures. These Art Asylam block figures, for you to perhaps just stand the figures on them. If you can just see at the back there, you can see little images of the jigsaw pieces. I suppose if you joined them all together, then you could stand them up quite nicely. Okay, so let's get some sizes in. It says these figures are 3 inches. So we are looking at a total of 8 centimeters, which does come out to, yep, exactly 3 inches. If we measure across, we're looking at 1.5 inches, or in centimeters, that is about 4 centimeters. And depth-wise, well, we're looking at probably about 2 centimeters deep, maybe a little bit short, maybe about 1.5 centimeters deep. But that gives you the size of the figures. And like I say, if you know how Lego figures work, these figures work pretty much exactly the same. Articulation wise, well, obviously the head rotates, the arms go up and down, the elbows move, and the hands move. The tops of the legs move. I'm not sure if the waist moves on these, actually. I'm not 100% sure on that. And obviously the knee joints and the feet move. So you do get quite a bit of articulation on these figures, which is very, very good, considering they are small block figures. Not a bad likeness, I suppose, because it's a block figure. It's not a bad likeness of William Shatner as Captain James T Kirk. So, yeah, overall, not too bad. Okay, how well did these figures do back in 2002? Well, 2002 Art Asylam had the license to produce Star Trek figures. They were producing the larger figures, so it was only natural that they would produce block figures, considering that they were holding the license anyway. What is a surprise is that they decided to do them in 3 inches as opposed to doing them in their standard 2-inch figures. Not quite sure why they did that, but I think the 3-inch figures are just absolutely brilliant, and I think they are. In my opinion, they're better than the 2-inch figures. Maybe because of the size wise, I don't know, but I just do really like these 3-inch size figures. So yeah, they've done quite well, I suppose. I think the quantities were quite limited, though. I don't think there was massive quantities produced. I think perhaps they were treading water with these types of figures at the time, so the quantities were small in comparison to the 2-inch figures which followed. So incidentally, which makes these figures much more collectible and far more difficult to find, especially in this obviously mint sealed condition. Okay, let's move forward 23 years to 2025, which is where we are today. Do these figures come up very often on the platforms? Not really. You do see the Star Trek block figures come up on the platforms. Don't get me wrong, they do appear. Most of the time, though, they are the 2-inch versions. And I think there's been quite a few sets of the 2-inch versions of the Star Trek ones produced. Someone told me there was about 12 or 14 sets that were produced. I don't know if that's right or not, but apparently there is quite a lot of 2-inch ones produced. But this series was the only ones produced in the 3 inches. So it's the 6 figures as was shown on the back of the card, plus the Captain Kirk from the Toy Fair exclusive one, which was Captain Kirk from Trouble, the episode Trouble with Tribbles, and it's with him in his green casual attire, and he comes complete with several Tribbles, but that's a different one, obviously. So yeah, they've done quite well, but are very difficult to find these days, especially in this mint sealed unopened packet. As I say, on the platforms you do find them, the 2-inch figures. I don't remember if I saw any 3-inch figures when I was researching them. I certainly didn't see any sealed ones like this, but I did find quite a lot loose figures. But again, if you're buying on platforms, be careful, because you need to make sure that the item you're buying is not a stock photograph, because a lot of the platforms use stock photographs, and what you're looking at, the item you're looking at, if you don't read the contents, you could end up with a used item and think you're ordering a new item. So just be very much aware of that. Otherwise, you can come to us at Midas Touch Toys Games Collectibles. We do not use any stock photographs. What you see on our website is exactly what you will receive. And you can get to the website very simply by clicking the link below, which will take you straight there, where you'll be able to find this and many other vintage Star Trek items, and many other vintage toys, games and collectibles. Come to that. There's over 10,000 products currently available on the website for you to view and purchase at your leisure. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button, because we're uploading videos for every new item that goes into the website. There will be something for everybody, and I am absolutely positive this is something you're not going to want to miss, because we literally have thousands and thousands of new items which we're shooting videos for and uploading on a daily basis. So if there's something in particular you're looking for, something old that you've never been able to find, something quirky that you might want to buy for a friend, or maybe just something from your childhood that you'd like to own again to help you recuperate those long lost childhood memories, well, stay tuned, keep watching, because you never know, the next item we upload could be that item you've been looking for. Okay, that is it for me on this particular item. I do hope you've enjoyed reviewing this wonderful Minimates block Captain Kirk figure with me. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again next video. So bye for now.